Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get straight to the intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So let's talk about what the whole world is talking about. The Nancy Guthrie missing case, right? Now, for those of you that don't know who Nancy Guthrie is, and I didn't know who Nancy Guthrie was, right? She is the mother of the co-host of the Today Show, Savannah Guthrie, right? So, of course, that makes it kind of a big deal. There's been over 18,000 tips so far processed to the authorities on allegedly where Savannah Guthrie's mother is. Savannah has made several pleas. She recently made a plea trying to create a safe haven for the individual or individuals involved with the abduction of her mother, saying it's not too late to give up. It's not too late to just make it right. Do I believe that Nancy Guthrie is still alive? I do not. Do I believe that there's some trickery going on behind this? I absolutely do. I believe this case is not going to turn out as well as people are hoping. Now, I hope and I pray that that 84-year-old woman is safe wherever she is. But if you look at kind of what these types of situations are, these people that abducted her, and obviously she was abducted. They have video camera, screen footage of the assailant, the individual that did abduct the mother, wearing a ski mask, and they're trying to key in on certain points and parts of what's going on. The backpack, seeing if this person had facial hair, seeing if this person is recognizable to the family. Now, quietly as is kept, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be someone that they know. It's going to be someone within the family or a friend of the family, or maybe even the direct family itself that did this. Now, why would someone decide to kidnap an older woman that is related or has a family member that is a co-host of a news show? There's a lot of theories. One of my theories is maybe Savannah Guthrie said something she was not supposed to say and she offended the wrong individuals. Maybe she has more money than a lot of us know, and people seen it as an opportunity. They were able to track down who her mother was, that it was an easy take, and they took her for ransom. Now, there's a $100,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest or, of course, getting her mother back. But at the end of the day, like I said, I don't believe her mother's still in existence. And that's an unfortunate way to say that, but that's just the way I got to say it. Now, why is the world so focused on this case when there's so many other things going on that the world could be focused on? Is this a case that is a setup just to get our minds and what we're talking about off of what's really going on with them files, them island files? And we all know who that involves, right? A lot of people. Is this a way to put a big case out there, something big for the world to focus on while that's going on the back burner? There's a lot of people with a lot of questions. Let me give you a rundown of what happened. Okay, I'm going to read to you from what I read, so that way we get everything right, because I don't want people to say, Gun, you're wrong. You don't really know what's going on. This ain't what happened. She's this, she's that. Look. The search for Nancy Guthrie entered its 3rd week. So 3 weeks she's been missing. Look, man, statistics say within the first 48, right? 3 weeks is a long time to be abducted, to have people caring for you, feeding you, giving you water, clothing you, bathing you, giving you a bed to sleep on. Like, that's a long time for abductors to get their shit together. Usually with a case like this, as big as it is, people would already have their shit together and it'd be in and out. 3 weeks is a long time. The 84-year-old disappeared from her home in Tucson, Arizona 15 days ago. Authorities still have no suspects or persons of interest, though Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano said more law enforcement operations are expected in the coming days. So, of course, they got the feds involved. They got all the different entities of law enforcement, the Alphabet Boys involved because of who this woman is and who Savannah Guthrie is, right? This is just the way it works. You know, some cases take on a crazy head of their own and it just goes crazy. Some get swept under the rug. This one is not one of those. The FBI released a description of the suspect seen in a mask and gloves tampering with the doorbell camera in front of Nancy Guthrie's home in the early morning hours of February 1st, around the time she went missing. The suspect is described as a male between 5'9", 5'10" inches tall, with an average build, and was seen carrying a 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker backpack, which, of course, man, that right there stands out because they're going to go in. They're going to look at any stores in the vicinity or the area that sell those. They're going to watch camera footage to see if they see someone with that same body, same build. And they have their ways of doing things. The FBI has increased its reward to $100,000 for information leading to the location of Nancy Guthrie or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. Now, there has been blood, DNA found on the scene that does not match Nancy nor any of her family members or anyone that was allowed in that home. So they are looking into that. There has been, like I said, Savannah has put out a plea to the abductors, basically saying it's not too late for them to come forward or to release her mother. She seems pretty calm. Is this a case where Savannah could have been involved with something nefarious and it led to her mom being abducted or even her being involved? We're going to have to find out. I think this is a simple situation of her mother being a very innocent victim, an older lady. Now, she was dropped off from a dinner the night before she was abducted, and she went missing and was reported missing at noon the next day because she did not show up to watch a Bible show with a family member or a friend that she does watch pretty frequently. With that being said, her family then and friends realized that something was horribly wrong. She went missing. Now the world is looking for Nancy. Where is Nancy? Can she still be in that area? Is she somewhere gone? Is she dead? You know, 3 weeks is a very long time. 3 weeks, and this person being on camera, they know or obviously have to understand that it's only a matter of time. Once the feds are involved, once these big law enforcement entities are involved, you usually don't get away with it. Now, there's a lot of people turning it into a racial thing, saying because she's a white older woman, because of who her white daughter is, because her daughter is well known from the Today Show, this is the reasoning why law enforcement is focusing so hard on this case. I don't believe that's the case at all. I believe they're focusing on it because it's put out there. And hey, anything that becomes big is big because we make it big. Because social media, big time news. And of course, we got a newscaster's mother missing that's involved with the news. Of course, all these different news stations and channels are going to broadcast that. Everybody wants to know where she is. And yes, it is taken on a big, big, big name and has been a big case in the last 3 weeks. I was hearing about it, but didn't focus on it and didn't know what was going on. And I was asked to do this video. Can you give their input on the Nancy Guthrie case? I can tell you guys this. This is not just a simple kidnap for ransom. There's more behind this. Is that conspiracy theory that they want us to focus on this case so that way we're not focused on the Epstein files clear? You never know. Every time something bad is going on in the world, something worse happens or something else happens in comparison that people try to get our attention away from what's really going on. Now, do I think the good outcome is going to happen? I don't. I do not. And do I think that a family member or somebody very close to the family was involved? Pretty much so. 9 times out of 10, when something happens in your home, when there's a kidnapping, someone goes missing, it's someone that you know that's involved, that's seen it as an easy come up. See, I've always thought that, and I've always hated that fact about the criminal world, right? I used to have homeboys, right, that were down on their luck. We were all doing bad, and we were into the burglary game, okay? We were into the box of chocolate game. That's what we used to call it, the box of chocolates, because you never know what you're going to get. That was the reference to Forrest Gump, right? We were into breaking in people's homes, unfortunately, that they earned all their stuff with hard-earned money and taking it from them. I'm sad to say, unfortunately, I was part of that process. I was young, I was dumb, I was making bad moves, but I would have friends that always, we throw names out there. We can hit this house, or that house looks like it's a come up. Oh, that house don't have dogs. Go knock on that door. We can kick that door in. Oh, that one's in the cuts. You know, you always think about when you're a burglar, what you're going to do, what could be there, if it's worth it, right? And I remember this one house, statute of limitations is gone, man. And one of the homies was real persistent. He was like, bro, I know they got hella money in this house. I seen it. I seen it. How'd you see it? I just know, bro. One time I slid. I just know these people. And I was like, it's kind of fucked up if you think about it. You know these people. You know that that's their money. You know how they get their money. They're at work. Yet you're still willing to take some strangers in there with you, some homeboys that really don't really fuck with you, but are only with you because you got a spot where there's money, into this home of people that you absolutely know to come up. And so we did. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I was very surprised. This man went straight to the room. He knew exactly where everything was. And there was a big vase. It probably stood about 4.5 feet tall, maybe 5 feet tall, and was filled to the top. It was a big round vase about that tall, clear, filled to the top with silver, right? Silver coins, not pennies, all silver, quarters, nickels, dimes. Couldn't believe it. We could not carry this. We were too young, not strong enough to carry this. We literally pushed it over and it shattered, and we were cutting our hands, DNA everywhere, putting this money in duffel bags, right? It ended up being several thousands of dollars worth of money. Money that these people had saved for years, I'm sure. And we're looking forward to spending it on maybe a Christmas or their children or whatever. We didn't care, right? Later on, come to find out, this was this own guy's father's house. His mother and his father were split up, and he was upset, or maybe he wasn't, but he just decided that we were going to break into his father's house, his own father, his blood father, and steal everything he had. Guns, money, jewelry, TVs. The fact is, usually the people that do you dirty are people that you know, people within your own family, because they see you as the easiest victims because they're cowards. See, they're cowards, and it's easy to do something bad to someone you know personally, because it's easier to get in. You know, it's family. They're not going to do nothing. That's the way in the mentality of a lot of criminals. You know, it's not that all criminals are cowards, because definitely that's not the case. Every man is a man, or a woman is a woman. But at the same time, there are a lot of people that take advantage of the situation and will do their own people dirty. What a fucking nasty move, right? I would never do something to my family like that. But it happened. I participated not knowing, and I spent the money knowing. But it was what it was, right? With this Nancy Guthrie case, I do definitely believe it's three things. It could only be three things. It could either be her daughter, Savannah, disrespected someone, cartels maybe, gang members, co-workers, or she knows something that she shouldn't know, and they want to send out basically a demo. This is what happens when you get and stick your nose and get involved in business you shouldn't, or say things you shouldn't. Also, too, it could be a distraction. A bigger conspiracy is it could be a distraction, making this case so big worldwide because it's the talk of the town all over the world, trying to get us away and our eyes off of what's going on in Congress and with this Epstein files and all that. You know, or it can be just conspiracy, excuse me, conspiracy theorists using any fucking thing they can to say that. Or it could be a family member in foul play. Maybe this woman has money, had money in her home, something that a family member knew about, even Savannah herself. And this could have been a setup. There's been a lot of people pointing fingers in directions at Savannah's husband. There's been people saying that it obviously has to be members of the family to know her routine. You never know. Okay, it could be a total stranger that just targeted this older lady, did not even know who her daughter was, and now realizes the complexities and how bad it is and who they kidnapped. Is there a chance in this world that they could find her safe and sound? There's always that possibility. But in the world we live in now, ask yourself, do you believe that? I don't. I believe the pleas for Nancy from Savannah look like they come from the heart, but anything could be staged. Anything could be made to look worse than it is, or to make you sound in anguish more than you are. It's a big case and it's all over the place. What we do know now is that we are going on 3 weeks of her missing. And yes, DNA has been found in the house. There's also a pair of gloves that have been found. Okay. Also, here's some breaking news. There was a Range Rover that was found, and they were looking into the Range Rover, and authorities were seen carrying a big blanket or sheet blocking and obstructing the view of the local newscasters, because whatever they found in that that Ranger, they did not want the world to see. Is it a possibility Nancy's body is in there or something else is in there? We don't know. I guess we're going to have to find out. I guess they'll release details as we go. But as of right now, they are putting out there that this woman is still missing. The family is still pleading, and it's a $100,000 reward. It's so unfortunate, man, to see these cases unfold, because 9 times out of 10, the end is bad. It's all bad. So I hope the family prepares themselves, those that are not involved, if any are involved, and that they brace themselves for a horrible outcome. This is an 84-year-old woman that probably did nothing bad to anybody, was probably proud of her daughter's achievements, proud of her family, a church-going woman that found herself caught up in a situation. Now, if this was just an abduction just to do it, I don't see what someone wants to get out of hurting an older woman like that. But we live in a crazy world in crazy times. Now, I obviously say family was involved, or at least friends of the family. That's why I always tell people, when people bring people to my home, I don't like it. I'm not worried about you per se. I am a little bit, right? Because I can't trust your punk ass, right? But I don't know the fucking friend you're bringing over, what they're thinking. And they're seeing all my jewelry. They're seeing my money. They're seeing what things I have in my home that I've earned, that I've worked for. And plus karma. I done did bad shit in my life. So I know how the game is, right? So you might not be thinking that. And you might not be thinking that they're thinking that, but they're thinking that. So we'll see how this all plays out. Again, I was asked to do this video and decided, you know what, I'm going to take a shot and do it. Let's see what it does. I think at this point, man, we all want to see Nancy Guthrie found safe and sound. I think at this point in time, we want to see, the world go back to being what it was. But again, man, this case seems to be a little tricky. There seems to be some foul play and a lot more involved in this case than meets the eye. Why is it so big? Savannah Guthrie, up until this point, I never really knew who she was. Now they're acting like she's fucking, what's her name? The Diane Sawyer, right? I don't know. Anyways, with that being said, let me know what you guys think. Am I being a conspiracy theorist? Am I pretty close? We're going to find out. Eventually, look, they might not find her body ever, but they will definitely find the people who did it. DNA, gloves, cars, video camera footage, ring camera footage is definitely putting that person who did this, or persons who did this, in a bad situation. We'll find out. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think her family was involved? Do you think this was just a coincidence? Do you think this is a cover-up to get our focus over here when shit's going on behind us, right? What do you think is going on? Let me know. This is The Gun. Bang, bang. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors out there in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the Turlock, California area, pull up and tell Lolly, the owner of the establishment, I said, what's up, man? And see what's up with it. Thank you, guys. Also, this video is also being sponsored by Sticks and Stones Yard Service out there in Arizona. If you're ever in the Arizona area, you buy a home, you need someone to pull up and really take care of your yard, man, Sticks and Stone Yard Service is the one for you. He's got you. With that being said, I'm going to get up out of here. Let me know what you guys think, man. I honestly, truthfully, I don't think this is going to end well. And I think that there's a big reason why this woman was targeted. I really believe there's a lot of money involved here. I mean, what are you going to get from a newscaster? They don't make much. I mean, I know she works on the Today Show and she probably has some bread, but not enough to hurt or possibly unalive an older woman. It's really not worth it, man. Maybe the family knows something we don't know. Maybe the authorities know something we don't know. Why do we always be the last ones to know? That's the question. This is The Gun. Bang, bang.